Good evening. Thank you for joining us for the UNC Pavement Report this Thursday. Due to inclement weather and road conditions, we will have to begin shortly, a little bit past our 7 o'clock time, but the speakers are on their way. 10 to 15 minutes we expect to begin. Thank you for your patience, and we look forward to an exciting night. Share the live in the meanwhile, everybody. Make sure to share it widely. Thank you.
Make sure the talk is done now. Time to start back the work now. All the talk done, all the talk done. Work nation!
We fed up by these people and all the bag of lies and everything that they're doing wrong, they're trying to disguise.
Always pointing fingers, never wanna take the blame.
We frustrated now, don't want no more, and we ain't taking it again.
Talk done. Let's get to work again, cause we're sick of them and the lies. Talk done. Let's get to work again, cause the country needs to shine. Talk done.
Let's get to work again. Come on, people, you know it's true.
Talk done.
Let's get to work again, cause the UNC works for you. Come on!
From there we start the engine. UNC have the plan to build a brighter future forward Twin Island.
Come on everybody, and you know it's true. It's time to start work again, and the UNC works for you.
Work nation to the world. Come on!
All these years of pressure, agony and pain,
But we work with them, and we cope with them, and we feel the blunt of the strain.
Know that. Now we the people start crying out. We can't take it no more. So election day when you ink your fingers, UNC you're voting for.
talk done. Let's get to work again, cause we're sick of them and the lies. Talk done. Let's get to work again, cause the country needs to shine. Talk done.
Let's get to work again. Come on, people, you know it's true.
Talk done.
Let's get to work again, cause the UNC works for you.
From there we start the engine. UNC have the plan to build a brighter future forward Twin Island.
Come on everybody, and you know it's true. It's time to start work again, and the UNC works for you.
Work nation. This is how we work. Come on. Tell them what we deal with.
We don't talk the talk, we just walk the walk. We don't make no joke when it's time to work.
Katrina,
We don't talk the talk,
what you say?
we just walk the walk.
Tell them.
We don't make no joke when it's time to work. Talk done. Let's get to work again, cause we're sick of them and the lies. Talk done. Let's get to work again, cause the country needs to shine. Talk done.
Let's get to work again. Come on, people, you know it's true.
Talk done.
Let's get to work again, cause the UNC works for you.
From there we start the engine. UNC have the plan to build a brighter future forward Twin Island.
Come on everybody, and you know it's true. the UNC works for you. Talk done. Talk done. Talk done. Talk done. Talk done. What?
Let's work. Work nation. Everybody now. Let's go. Come on, come on. Hey.
Whoa, oh, whoa, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Whoa, oh, whoa, oh, yeah, yeah. It's time to make a difference. It's time to turn that page. We got to do the right things if we want brighter days. Cause things ain't getting easy and the road ahead is tough. It's up to you and I to make the madness stop.
Every day the things getting harder, and every day the things getting rough, and every day they hike the food prices and they implementing more tax for the sake of our twin nation and the youth of the next generation. Let's stand united, show we're not divided. Let's show them now and send them a message now.
Show them that we're the voice of hope.
Send them a message now.
Show them that our country ain't no joke.
Send them a message now.
Show them that we're the ones who care.
Send them a message now.
Oh, 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 yeah, yeah. From a distance, look at the picture. Tell me what you see. An abstract of destruction to destroy you and me. We got to do the right thing. We got to make that move. Cause if we don't act fast on this, we're the ones who lose.
Every day the things getting harder, and every day the things getting rough, and every day they hike the food prices and they implementing more tax for the sake of our twin nation and the youth of the next generation. Let's stand united, show we're not divided. Let's show them now and send them a message now.
Show them that we are the voice of hope.
Send them a message now.
Show them that our country ain't no joke.
Send them a message now.
Show them that we are the ones who care.
Send them a message.
Do you know that in 2016, 66 liters of diesel cost $100? Today, under the PNM, you get 20 liters of diesel for $100. The diesel you paid $100 for under the UNC now costs $327 under the PNM, which directly affects the cost of food, transport, and services. Guess who I'm voting for next time?
Welcome to the United National Congress's Pavement Report. We take this opportunity to thank you for coming out and for all your support. Now, please stand for the national anthem and remain standing for the prayer. Thank you.
Forged from the love of liberty in the fires of hope and prayer, with boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare, side by side we stand, highlands of the blue Caribbean Sea, this our native land, we pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation.
Almighty God, most beneficial and merciful, Creator of the universe and embodiment of divine wisdom and light, we come before you with thanksgiving and praise. May your will be done in our nation as it is in the heavens. Please bless our political leader, party officials, activists, and all the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Give us the grace to always see good, be good, and do good, and the courage to serve the people. Protect us as we stand against injustice and iniquity, and inspire our endeavors to find the right solutions to the problems that are affecting our fellow citizens. Grant that we may always work together with humility and respect for the greater happiness of all and the honor and glory of our country.
Honorable political leader of the United National Congress, who I know at this time is tuning to listen to the pavement report from the Princestown constituency. Ladies and gentlemen, one thing we realize in the constituency of Princestown, not even rain can stop us. And it means that people are ready to ensure that the United National Congress return to government. I can tell you, since 1 p.m. this afternoon into 6 o'clock this evening, it was non-stop rain in this area, and it did not stop the people from coming out here this evening. My duty is a simple one: to co-host this program with my councillor colleague, Councillor Alimah Ali, councillor for the electoral district of 5th Company. But before I do so, I must take a few minutes to let you all know some of the challenges that we are facing at the Princestown Regional Corporation. And I know it is what is happening in every single regional corporation. I have been a councillor at the Princestown Regional Corporation for 22 years. And it is the first time in 22 years that the council have to wait on funds to pay the last financial year DP projects. That have never happened in this country before. That is the type of leadership of the PNM government. That is the type of leadership of Mr. Keith Christopher Rowley and his government. The Minister of Rural Development and Local Government, for the first time, have never visited Princestown Regional Corporation to meet with the councillors. I had worked with 7 different ministers of local government, and everyone visited the corporation to hear the challenges, how they can work with the permanent secretary to ensure that some of the challenges are being solved. This minister of local government have never come to the region to listen to the cries of the people of this region. But we understand why. We understand why, because the challenge he has in San Fernando West, the PNM have never had that before. So they have to spend all their time in the ground. So I saw the Prime Minister tell him, forget regional corporation, spend all your time in the ground, because Dr. Dowlat is coming for that seat in San Fernando West. And the minister knows that pretty soon he will be out of a job. So he wants to ensure that that doesn't happen. Nothing will stop it. It's going to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, in this area, in this constituency, from 2010 to 2015, as a councillor at the Princestown Regional Corporation, in the Hadbargain area, in the Tablan area, we had 7 wooden bridges that every year when rain falls, these wooden bridges will wash away. We have to find money to replank these bridges. Under the leadership of Mrs. Kamla Prasad Bisesa, every single bridge was removed from wooden bridges to concrete. That is the type of representation. In the electoral district of New Grand Tablan alone, when I went into the council, we had 2 roads paved with asphalt. The time from 2010 to 2015, 22 corporation roads was paved in 5 years. That is what we had from 2010 to 2015, and that is what we will get again when we return to government. We must work together to ensure that this general election come, we will be victorious, and we have to return to victory and take government in this country once more. Ladies and gentlemen, the first speaker who will open the baton here this evening, because out of the traffic, which the PNM know that we was going to have a meeting here tonight. So you know what they choose to do? They start this evening, 5 p.m., to do some patching work on the Naparima Maya Road. So they thought that could have stopped you all from coming here. That thought that these MPs would have been not able to be here. That did not stop them. They are here because they are ready to work with the political leader to make sure the United National Congress return to government of Trinidad and Tobago. The first speaker, a man who really needs no introduction, the former chairman of the United National Congress, opposition shadow minister of energy, opposition chief whip, the member of parliament for Pointe-à-Pierre, now called Claxon Bay. They could call it Pointe-à-Pierre, they could call it Claxon Bay, is UNC victory in that constituency. This man is a man who is dedicated to the United National Congress, who shares the same vision of our political leader, who will work with our political leader to make sure she becomes the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. David Lee, Member of Parliament for Pointe-à-Pierre.
Thank you, Chairman Gowrie. It's always a pleasure being in Princestown. St. Julian, as we say. St. Julian is in the house. Give yourself a round of applause. It has been a long journey coming here tonight. And Barry thought I would have reached late. I did reach late, but Gowrie told you why. But I had to pass through Gasparillo. So I am here, but Saddam is also here. Let me say welcome to my colleagues, my parliamentary colleagues. The next and returning Member of Parliament for Sama Barataria, none other than Saddam Hosein. Can we give him a round of applause? And I know Saddam is on the ground working Sama Barataria, and he will be victorious whenever that election is called. I have my other colleagues here, the host, my brother, MP Barry Padarath. Can we give him a round of applause? I have my other colleagues, Deputy Political Leader, Member of Parliament for Urupuch East, none other than the lion himself, Dr. Roodal Moonilal. I see the mayor from Siparia. Can we give him a round of applause? As always, the mayor is always with us wherever we go. I see the chairman and his team from the San Grande Regional Corporation traveling all the way in all this rain here tonight. And it is really, really a good thing to see people from outside of Princestown and outside of the Southland journeying to be part of this pavement report. My brothers and sisters, and I must say I have some Pointe-à-Pierre people in the crowd, so give it up to Pointe-à-Pierre. Tonight the UNC joins you on the ground once more. And I know our honorable political leader is locked on and listening. As we stand up to the brutality, brazen neglect, and broken state of national affairs caused by the PNM. Trinidad and Tobago have faced a decade of unrelentless destruction, crisis, and chaos by the PNM in our beautiful land called TNT. In the last decade of the PNM control, this very same cabinet of ministers and group of MPs who have been selected once more by the PNM have taken away more from this country than they have delivered. In 10 years, they have taken away your social safety net. In 10 years, they have taken away your cheap cost of fuel, and it has cost me £1 and a crown to come here in St. Julian. In 10 years, they have taken away your ability to be safe in your own homes. As a country, do you want them to continue taking away more from the people of this country? Do you want them to continue the decade of destruction? The answer should be no. We must vote them out whenever election is called. Trinidad and Tobago, brothers and sisters, 2 days ago, the Wednesday Express front page displayed this week one of the most worrying stories ever in the front page of the Express. The caption was, "Calm Imbut is back." That is worrying, my brothers and sisters. As a country, we cannot allow Calm Imbut to return as another finance minister for the PNM. That headline, "Imbut is back," should send chills in every worker of this country, because he's the man that offered 000 before this meager 4%. The headline, "Imbut is back," is a terrifying alarm bell for every business in this country who have suffered due to the suppression of VAT returns and lack of foreign exchange from this Minister of Finance. The headline that Imbut is back is one of the major reasons that we as a country must unite to reject the PNM, because as this country's longest serving Minister of Finance, he has delivered the least economic growth in our nation's history. The return of Imbut into the fold of the PNM is concrete evidence that the PNM under Young is exactly the same as the PNM under Rowley. Do not get chained up. Do not take God out of your thoughts and believe this PNM is different. As a matter of fact, tonight as a country, we must be alert and reject the endless propaganda that they are trying to peddle. Suddenly, after 10 years, they have now decided to build homes for squatters. Suddenly, after 10 years, they want to modernize agriculture. Suddenly, after 10 years, they want to reform school curriculum. Do not be fooled. And suddenly, after 10 years, they want to bring a man who say he didn't know he had roots from Lal Bihari down in Penal. Do not be fooled by the PNM playbook of lies and shallow promises. As a matter of fact, tonight we warn this country that very soon the PNM will pull out of their number one political football. The number one political football. They will tell you they're bringing back and opening the refinery. The PNM has used the refinery as a political imamagai. The country on every election since its closure in November 2018. I want to remind the population of this blatant refinery lies in the past 10 years. Ahead of the 2019 local government election, and Sharon from Tabakit would know that, the Prime Minister announced that the refinery was being given to the OWTU because the PNM wanted to turn workers into business owners. That was a blatant lie. Right before the 2020 election, they boasted that the government was ready to sign over the refinery in a matter of days. That turned out to be a lie. Right before the 2023 local government election, they boasted that the investors were visiting the refinery data room. 2 years now, that appeared to be another blatant lie. Now on the eve of the 2025 election, brace yourself, because they will come again to fool you, Trinidad and Tobago, with false refinery opening hope. On the eve of the election, they'll want to gaslight the population by telling them they'll restore economic stability with the reopening of the refinery. But as a country, we must never forget the deep wounds, the scars, and the damage they have caused to the tens of thousands back in November 2018 when they shut down Petrotrin. Our fence line communities like Tabakit, Gasparillo, Pointe-a-Pierre, Marabella, Couva, Claxton Bay, even San Fernando West, they have damaged our people. The PNM has lost the moral authority to speak about reopening the refinery because back in 2018, tens and thousands of people lost their jobs within weeks. Back in 2018, hundreds of thousands of fence line workers and residents had their lives disrupted. 2 weeks ago, my brothers and sisters, they're coming back. This nation was regionally embarrassed when it was revealed we were importing a million barrels of fuel oil from where? Jamaica. Jamaica does not produce oil. All they have is a refinery, and we are now buying fuel from Jamaica's refinery. That alone, my brothers and sisters, we should send Stuart Young and Rowley packing. Tonight we have some serious questions about the refinery for Rowley and Young. Tonight we have some serious concerns about that refinery. Back in 2025, budget presentation by the Minister of Finance, the same Imbert who said he is back and he'll be better in this next 5 years. Could you imagine that? Imbert has been there longer than Dr. Moonilal. He didn't do anything for this country, but he says his last 5 years will be the best. Well, brace yourself for that, brothers and sisters. Back in 2025, the budget presentation by Imbert told this country that in February 2024, the solicitation of expressions of interest for new potential bidders and the parties who participated in previous bids for the refinery was undertaken. The Minister of Finance told this country that 10 proposals were received by Scotia Capital, which was hired to do procurement together with the evaluation team headed by the High Commissioner of London, Vishnu Dan Paul, who was a former permanent secretary. 3 proposals to be worthy of consideration from 3 entities, and they were 1, CRO Consortium, a locally based consortium comprising of 3 locally based companies. Inca Energy LLC, a company based in the USA. And 3, Oando PLC, a company based in Nigeria. Tonight we ask the government, are the rumors that Oando PLC of Nigeria has been earmarked for the refinery? We want to ask this government that. Tonight we call on the Minister of Energy, Stuart Young, the incoming Prime Minister, to tell the country, this country, has the cabinet agreed to give the refinery to Oando PLC of Nigeria. We raise this concern because back in October 2024, the Trinidad Guardian ran a very troubling story on October 2nd, 2024. Headlines: refinery bidder Oando PLC probed by the Nigerian Stock Exchange. These are troubling details from the article. 1, let me read out some issues with Oando PLC. One of the 3 potential bidders to take over the operation of the Petrotrin refinery was being investigated by the Securities Exchange Commission of Nigeria in 2019. The probe found that Oando PLC's management and board were involved in serious infractions such as false declarations, market abuses, misstatements of financial statements, corporate government lapses stemming from poor board oversight. The energy company suffered a significant decline in investor confidence and financial performance as a result of the board crisis due to the positions by 2 shareholders. And this Oando company that is interested in the Petrotrin refinery does not have a track record in the refining business. And that is the problem we have. So we are asking Rowley and Stuart Young tonight, because I understand last week in Cabinet, they had a problem, they had a division among their own colleagues in that Cabinet meeting last week, Thursday. They're having problems in deciding who they want to give the refinery to. And we are saying we want the refinery to remain in Trinidad in the hands of our local people of Trinidad and Tobago. And whenever that election bell is rung and the United National Congress wins that election under the Honorable Kamala Persad-Bissessar, we will open back that refinery. My brothers and sisters, so we have a lot of questions to ask Rowley and Stuart Young about that Oando company that is interested in our refinery. And I want to tell you, they are coming to use that refinery to hoodwink you again. I want to say a big up and a congratulations to my colleague. I know you were supposed to be here. None other than MP Roopnarine Indar Singh. I want to tell you, we are coming up to the 3rd anniversary of the death of the 4 divers in that Paria tragedy. And Rudy Indar Singh has been the champion with the family of the divers to keep the whole issue and not to allow this country to forget what happened 3 years ago. We'll be celebrating on Saturday, and I want you all to give Roodal Indar Singh and his team a hearty round of applause on behalf of the family in that Paria tragedy. Friends, in 2 days' time, we'll mark the 3rd memorial of the most tragic and catastrophic industrial accident in the nation, in our nation, the Paria tragedy. But the Paria tragedy is not just an industrial accident. It is a stark reminder of the heartless governance of this PNM government. Tonight I remind you that 3 years ago, when our 4 brothers fought for their lives in a pipeline, this government abandoned them. Don't forget that. I remind you that while our 4 brothers fought for their lives in a pipeline, this government didn't have the common decency to ensure the families were comforted during this period. They left them in rain in a car park, and it was not because of people like Dr. Moonilal, who provided meals and toilet facilities, and also myself and Roopnarine Indar Singh and OWTU to try and give some comfort to those families in the car park. I want to thank, and look, we have MP Indar Singh here tonight, a champion behind this Paria tragedy. Today, we remind the country of the statements of the Paria Commission chairman that this was no act of God. While the Commission of Inquiry recommended that Paria Fuel Company be charged with corporate manslaughter, and I want to give up a round of applause and congratulate MP Indar Singh. Today, he delivered and had a meeting with the Commissioner of Police, with members of the family of that Paria tragedy, and delivered a letter and had a discussion with him about that corporate manslaughter issue. And then they delivered another letter to the DPP right after their meeting with the Commissioner of Police. So I want to thank him. 3 years later, we still have no justice. 3 years later, and this government continues to act as they did then, simply not caring about our families. We must never forget the words of the Commission Chairman Lynch. He said, an act of human kindness and human decency to make an ex gratia payment to the families would be needed and most without accepting liability. So what Lynch is saying, Lynch is telling this government, please give some sort of payment to these families. And after 3 years, these families have gotten zero. Why big-time lawyers, as Dr. Moonilal will tell you later, big-time lawyers have collected millions of dollars in fees. And our poor families have gotten nothing, my brothers and sisters. I am asking you, whenever that election bell is rung, you cannot vote this wicked PNM government back in office. As I come to an end, I just want to say a few things. You know, we have a slogan called, when UNC win, everybody wins. You're right? That's our big slogan. I want to say to you, when the UNC wins, the economy wins, as we saw in 2010 to 2015, when this country recorded the highest foreign direct investments under Kamala Persad-Bissessar, which in turn delivered over 60,000 jobs for you. When the UNC wins, workers win. Workers win, as we saw in 2010 to 2015. And we will do it again because under Kamla Prasad Bisesa between 2010 and 2015, 130 wage negotiations were settled. And we will do it again. When the UNC wins, your children win. When UNC win, your children win. As we saw between 2010 and 2015, laptops for all our children. So when UNC win, our young men and women, our children also win. When UNC win, Barry will tell you, we wouldn't have any increase in TNTEC rates or water rates. That is what UNC will do. We will not have those things. When UNC wins, there will be no property tax, my brothers and sisters. That's a surety. So when UNC win, everybody win. So as I come to end, tonight we congratulate the leader of the opposition, who has been the pioneer in the creation of the coalition of interests. And I want to recognize we have some members here from PEP who's part of that coalition of interests. Can we give them a round of applause? They have journeyed from far. The leader of the opposition understands the hopelessness facing every segment of our nation. The leader of the opposition understands that every community and stakeholder needs representation to rebuild our nation. It was the vision of the leader of the opposition that has created the coalition of interests to ensure every citizen has a place, plan, and purpose as we rebuild our nation, especially our labor movement. The leader of the opposition has shown that there is a space and place for all on this journey to rebuild Trinidad and Tobago. Today we commend the coalition of interests because it is built on a foundation of protecting workers, of protecting citizens, of ensuring prosperity for the working class and returning security to Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago, tonight we pledge that the selfless, visionary approach by the leader of the opposition, the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa, is the solution to our country's problem. When UNC wins, as I say tonight, we all win. We all win. Long live our Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa, who will be the next Prime Minister. Long live my parliamentary colleagues. Long live St. Julian, a great community. Tonight I say, let us all win together. I thank you.
You down. Stay focused and hold your ground, because what will kill you should make you stronger. So my problems is like steroids, boy. I get my dose.
St. Julian Princess Sound, let me hear you all tonight. We have more people on the outside than we have here on the inside tonight. And I'm sure our political leader who is locked on tonight will be very pleased to see this mammoth crowd here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, let us prepare to be inspired by a trailblazer, a fearless advocate, and a rising star in both the legal and the political arena, Mr. Saddam Hosein. From his early days championing the voices of Trinbagonian students, as the president of the Trinidad and Tobago Students Association at the UE Cave Hill, in earning accolades as a world-class legal mind, Saddam has consistently proven that he is a force to reckon with. With a career built on excellence, graduating at the Hewarding Law School's Principal Role of Honor, winning the prestigious Justice Roodal Candle Advocacy Award, and clinching the best prosecution brief in New York, he has shown his strength. He has shown it in both the political and international careers. As the youngest member of Parliament in the 12th Republican Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago, representing the state of Barataria San Juan, Saddam continues to break barriers and inspire the next generation and our youth. Get ready to meet our new candidate for San Juan Barataria, MP Saddam Hosein.
Never let the problems get you down. should make you stronger. So my problems.
Thank you very much, Councillor Alimah. Good night, my UNC family. Good night, my UNC family. I'd like to acknowledge all my parliamentary colleagues from both the upper and lower houses of parliament, those in the local government fraternity, and I want to especially acknowledge our host MP, MP Barry Padarath. Tonight we meet at a very important juncture in our nation's history. We are moments away from the removal of the PNM government from office. We are a couple weeks away from installing a United National Congress government under the leadership of Kamala Persad-Bissessar, the next democratically elected Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Not a self-appointed, anointed Prime Minister, like what is going to happen in a couple days. In fact, I don't think Rowley should come back. He should stay in Barbados. He could stay there. We don't want him back. I had the displeasure of being late this evening, and the reason why I was late is because I passed through some roads to get here. And when I passed those roads, I wondered whether or not it was a road. And that has been evident of the neglect of the People's National Movement to the south areas of Trinidad and Tobago. Total neglect. But you would have read previously in the newspaper that they have spent $1 billion to probe political opponents. Imagine if they had taken that same money to fix Sisters Road that I had to come through, or other bad roads in this country. You would have had a better quality of life for people in this country. But what they rather do, run down political opponents so that they could go in a platform and say, what? Don't vote for the UNC. But people fed up of that. 10 years of suffering, 10 years of neglect, 10 years of a runaway crime situation, 10 years of bad health care. We must get the PNM out, because when UNC wins, everybody wins. When Kamala wins, everybody wins. And you know, I was coming up in the vehicle and I was thinking to myself, are we really still in a state of emergency? Are we in a state of emergency? When I woke up this morning and I saw the newspaper, I saw a 64-year-old woman was murdered in her home in I believe it's St. Mary's, Moruga, that's very close to here, Miss Drupati Chance. Could you imagine, in the height of a state of emergency, a 64-year-old woman, home was invaded on Wednesday night, and she was brutally killed. And today we have a state of emergency with Fitzgerald Hines as the minister. We must get up, my UNC family, and vote out this government. We must vote them out. Because they have tried very, very hard to get involved in the business of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. I know Dr. Moonilal usually make a joke, and he just called one of them WPC Camille. The PNM has a strange obsession with getting involved with the management of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. But that is an institution that must always be independent from the politicians. Let the police do the work. If they have to charge politicians, they will charge the politician, but leave the police in order to manage their own work. But you would have seen in the newspaper, front page in the newspaper, that 169 promotions had to be quashed. In local terms, they say squash. They had to quash these 169 positions or promotions because of a matter that took place in the court where Justice C. Persad delivered a judgment. And today I walked with a copy of this judgment. And I think I need to go through what the court said, because you have to understand what is going on. Why will a government want to get involved in handpicking, in selecting first division officers of the TTPS? You know why? Because as the management of the TTPS, they just determine who go and investigate who. They just determine under very important pieces of law to get particular warrants. That is why the government wants their hands in the first division police officers. So this judgment delivered by Justice C. Persad is entitled or intituled Inspector Mark Hernandez against the Commissioner of Police, the Attorney General of Trinidad and Tobago, Odyssey Consult Inc. Limited, and the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service Social and Welfare Association, a judgment delivered on the 18th of February 2025 by Mr. Justice Frank C. Prasad. And this evening, I want to commend two very eminent counsels in Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Jack Deo Singh and Mr. Gerald Ramdeen, who brought this matter and won in the High Court. And in this matter, a claim was filed to determine whether or not the promotion of certain police officers from the rank of inspector to assistant superintendent of police was done properly. So the court had to look at the process that they engaged, that took place, before he could determine whether or not this was a proper, regular process so that these persons have proper promotions. The court had some stinging words. For one, Deputy Commissioner of Police, George. He had stinging words for Erla Hayward Christopher, who was the Commissioner of Police at the time that oversaw the promotions in this matter. And I will go through certain parts of the judgment. But I just want to outline how you go through this promotion aspect. First, they have to have something called a performance appraisal. So a police officer do his job. Over the year, they will give him a grade and say you did good, you did bad, you did outstanding, you did fairly well, you need to improve in this thing. After that submission of the performance appraisal, you now have to do a written examination. And then after the written examination, you have to face, in the UNC, you'd have a screening committee, you'd have an interview panel. So they'll have to go and face the interview panel. And each step of the way, the officer is graded to determine whether or not he will get the promotion. Well, when I read this judgment, I thought this was a storybook or a joke, The police service adduced evidence into the court. So they ask something strange, the claimant's lawyer. They say, how come everybody who got promoted had, or every officer there, had a performance appraisal of outstanding? Everybody get outstanding. Even if they do bad, they get outstanding. Even if they do good, they get outstanding. If they do outstanding, well, they get outstanding. Everybody had outstanding. So the judge said, but how could this be right? Everybody get outstanding? Well, the police say, listen, we have administrative problems, so we can't really do the performance appraisals on time, so we give everybody good, outstanding. This is what happening in the TTPS, They tell everybody how they do outstanding. So when the DCP George was giving the evidence in court, and they had her cross-examined, they asked her, is this true that everybody get an outstanding grade? She said no. Some people didn't get outstanding. So then they asked her, well, why you didn't produce that evidence before the court? She said, well, I didn't want to produce it because she's afraid people circulate that affidavit in the public. You hearing this madness? This is what the judge had to say about DCP George. Because the judge, when he had made his comments about her, he basically said that she had evidence in her possession that she did not bring to the court, and that was in fact disingenuous. He said, I am quoting from the judge. He said the court formed the view that DCP's George's statement that she provided to the attorneys acting for the TTPS, the PMAS, which is the performance appraisal for several officers who were not in receipt of an outstanding grade, was unlikely and probably disingenuous. The court said this: DCP George had an obligation to ensure that there was full and frank disclosure, and the onus rested on her to demonstrate that there was no settled practice of awarding a universal grade of outstanding. Where a party deprives a court of relevant evidence, the court is entitled to make the most of adverse inferences. Such a presumption is based upon the notion that if the contents of the document were favorable to the party, the documents would have been disclosed to the court in support of the party's case. So you have a deputy commissioner of police going to court and not providing evidence to the court to support her position, and the court had to find that was in fact disingenuous of a deputy commissioner of police. Do you know who brought that deputy commissioner of police and supported that recommendation in the parliament? PNM, Rowley, all of them vote for she. And this is what the court had to say about DCP George. But it doesn't stop there. So everybody now get outstanding, so they have to move on to the other stage. The other stage is the written exam. So they have a company called Odyssey Inc. who is running this exam. So Odyssey told all of the officers, only if you attain a grade of 50%. 50% is half, right? Once you attain this grade of 50%, you will move on to the next stage of the interview. And I have a fella from the Police Social Welfare Association, ASP Gideon Dixon. He ran and he tell him, he said, no, it have a court judgment that say you can't set a pass grade. So you're writing an exam and you don't know what's the pass grade, right? Do you know DCP George believe him? So they went along this entire process now, had all the officers write the exam. 12 of them did not attain a 50% mark. You know they went to the next stage? Then DCP George and court say, well, Dixon was wrong, but follow his wrong advice. And therefore, that stage of the process is now flawed. So we reached the first stage, which was the performance appraisal, flawed. We reached the second stage, which is the exam, is now flawed. The third stage now, every man jack before the interview committee now to determine whether or not they will get the grades. The court said, well, before I even look at the interview, I have to assess the qualification of these persons. There was a panel of 15 individuals who were selected to conduct these interviews. The court said that none of them were qualified except for one fellow called Snaggs. He was appointed as, I believe, an acting commissioner of police at one point in time. 5 of them, of the 15, possess some experience in policing. It has some of them have experience in tourism and insurance, but interviewing police officer in this country. Could you imagine this is the madness that is going on in this country? The court said that not a man jack there, except for Snaggs, had the qualification to be conducting these interviews. The court tried its best to see if they could save this process. The judge said it was so fundamentally flawed, he could not at all save the entire process. So all of that had to be, in local parlance, squash. 169 squash. No promotions for these fellas. So they hire, in Rambatalale, they hire a company called Odyssey Inc. Well, who is Odyssey Inc? I want to know. There's a company's registry, Odyssey Inc. So Odyssey Inc. in the court was represented by 2 individuals. One, Mr. Owen Hines Jr., and one, Miss K. Kid Hannibal. I want to ask tonight whether or not Mr. O. Hines Jr. is a relative of Fitzgerald Hines. And is Miss Kid Hannibal the attorney at law for Foster Cummings? And then when you look at the company's registry and you pull the directorship of Odyssey Inc., the secretary of that company is a fellow called Russell Orlando Huggins, who was a former PNM senator, former minister of national security in our PNM government. Is that you, Mr. Huggins, I asking? Then it have a fellow who is a director called Leonard Anthony Watkins. He is the one who gave evidence in the court, and the court said, I find him to be very dodgy when giving answers. Do you know he's the chairman of a committee called the Community Recovery Committee? That was a PNM-appointed committee when they had the uprising in East Port of Spain in 2020. He's the chairman of that committee, and his company is now the one retained by the TTPS in order to do these promotion matters. And next one, Director Asha Ayodele Watkins Monsterin. Is that Asha the same Asha who is a member of the Chambers of Keith Scotland, who is the Junior Minister of National Security in charge of the TTPS? So I want to ask tonight, how is it that Odyssey Inc. got this contract from the TTPS to do this promotion exercise? And you know I love Standing Finance Committee, so I asked some questions in the Standing Finance Committee, and the TTPS responded. But I will file a FOI to get more of the information. This is what I have so far. In January 2023, Odyssey Inc. was paid $128,000 by the TTPS. In March 2023, they were paid another $128,000 by the TTPS for consultancy services. In July 2023, they were paid $253,000 by the TTPS. In September 2023, they were paid $126,000 by the TTPS. Just for the year 2023, they were paid $636,000 $636,000 by the TTPS. 636,000. How is it that this company got the contract for this promotion exercise? We want the answers now. And if you don't give us the answers, we have very bright lawyers in the UNC. We will get the answers. You can run, but you cannot hide. You can run, but you cannot hide. And this is one reason why we must remove the PNM out of office. They have tried their best to interfere with the appointment of a commissioner of police. Recently, we did a debate on the SOE. Rowley stand up in Parliament. He said, me, I never see a merit list in my life. Well, I could have dropped down dead. The man said he never see a merit list after he's the same man who admitted to the population that he was the one who pulled the list at President's house from Bliss. You remember that? So I get up in Parliament and I say every time they have to appoint a commissioner of police, they have a high public official always loitering around the President's house. Rowley get vexed. I didn't call no name, you know. Rowley get vexed. But my brothers and sisters, these are very important matters of public concern that I had to bring to your attention, involving what is taking place with the TTPS. And when you have things like this happening at the upper level of the TTPS, you have a commissioner of police who get locked up, charged, dismissed, suspended during an SOE. 169 promotions fall by the wayside during an SOE. What does that say about the motivation of the junior officers? How do you expect them to go only beat and fight crime? They will not, because if they find nonsense going out on the top, why are they going to risk their lives at the bottom in order to run down these criminals? So my brothers and sisters, we in the UNC, we have the plans, we have the policy, we have the people, we have the candidates, and we have the leader in order to make Trinidad and Tobago safe again. What we are waiting on right now, my brothers and sisters of the UNC, we are waiting on the election date, because when that election bell is called, go in your section, vote for the UNC, vote for the UNC, vote for the UNC, because when UNC wins, everybody wins. I thank you very much, Princess Town.
Never let your problems get you down. Stay focused and hold your ground.
Trinidad and Tobago, UNC. Do you all see the lineup of speakers that we have here tonight and the issues that they are bringing to show the public? When UNC win, everybody wins. And we need to remember this. As the Paria Justice Committee will be holding a wreath laying and a motorcade on Saturday, the 22nd of February, 2025. We are asking members who can make it to assemble at the Member of Parliament's office at Couva South along the Camden Road in Couva at 7 a.m. As we remember all of those persons who injustice was served against. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you here tonight a name that has become common amongst the political arena today. MP Barry Padarath is at the forefront of representing the interests of the people of Princestown. Working in the political arena since his younger days, Barry brings a mix of youth and experience to the parliament. He is passionate about empowering young persons to achieve their true potential. He is a young professional who owns a Bachelor of Arts from the University of West Indies in the field of international relations, history, and government. He has served as the youngest advisor to the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago and has held this position for the past 5 years. His portfolio included community relations matter, policy planning, and implementation. Serving as a Member of Parliament since 2015, I now welcome MP Barry Padarath.
Yeah. Never let your problems get you down. Stay focused and hold your ground.
Princess Town, are you in the house? Political leader of the United National Congress, who is joining us this evening, the best Prime Minister Trinidad and Tobago has ever had, and the next Prime Minister, Mrs. Kamla Persad Bissessa. My parliamentary colleagues joining us this evening, We have a very powerful battery of speakers. Deputy political leader, the lion himself, the MP for Obush East. Put it up for Dr. Roodal Moonilal. The chief whip, the dragon from Pointe-a-Pierre, Dr. David Lee. You just heard from the firebrand in the constituency of Barataria San Juan, bringing home that seat for another term, MP Saddam Hosein. We also have joining us several members of parliament, MP Rishi Sicharan for Karani East, Dr. Lakram Bodo in Faizabad, our colleague Rudy Indar Singh in Kuva South. I think the MP for St. Augustine, MP Khadija Amin, is also here with us this evening. My brother from the constituency of Kuva North, Ravi Ratiram. Several other MPs, I see our sister here from the Senate, Senator Jayanti Lakshmidiyal. The Mayor of Siparia, Mayor Meru. And how could we forget our own very hard-working chairman of the Princestown Regional Corporation, whose shoulders that I stand on here in Princestown, Councillor Gowrie Roopnarine. Brothers and sisters, in this district, we have very strong, competent leadership in our councillors, some of whom are veterans in the local government fraternity. Allow me to recognize Councillor Nello, Lakshminarayan Ramdan, young councillor now joining us for the first time and doing a fantastic job in Bonitento, Hard Bargain, and that is Councillor Vincent Ragu. In the Inverness Princestown area, Councillor Derek Matura. Our Alderman and Vice Chairman of the Regional Corporation, Alderman Rafi Mohammed. I see Alderman Chris Hussain is also here with us this evening. But it will be remiss of me if I do not recognize the Princestown Constituency Executive. I want to say to you from the bottom of my heart, it has been my ultimate honor to serve you as your Member of Parliament for the last 10 years in the House of Representatives. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, the precincts that we are in here tonight gave birth to our first political leader who walked bare feet for 7 miles to this school, the St. Julian Presbyterian School, for 7 years of his life, bringing honor and glory to this country as the first person of East Indian descent to ever be Prime Minister of this country, the Honorable Bastio Pandey. Across the St. Julian Presbyterian School, in the year 2000, our current political leader, the best Minister of Education we ever had, who gave our children the opportunity, ensuring that no child was left behind, left a legacy for Bastio Pandey when she opened the Early Childhood Center that is situated across from the St. Julian Presbyterian School. I raise those issues with you here tonight so you understand the history, because St. Julian Princestown gave birth to our first political leader. But just 1 year ago, I went to the Parliament raising a very troubling issue right here in St. Julian. There was an elderly couple not too far from here that died in a house fire because a fire appliance could not reach to St. Julian Princestown because of landslip and caveland. And that is why so many of you took 2 and 3 hours to reach here at St. Julian today. Tonight, it did not just stop with cavelands. It didn't just stop with bad roads, as Saddam told you. Today, Princestown is without a fire station. So first it started with the elderly couple perishing in a house fire because the fire appliance could not pass through the cavelands, resulting in the most tragic and horrific deaths right here in this constituency. But today, the Princestown fire station had to be shut down and relocated to Penal because rat was running all over, not just the fire station, but the fire officers while they slept. That is the reality of the fire service under sleeping Fitzgerald Hines. That is the result of the leadership of a clueless, inept Prime Minister, Keith Rowley. Just yesterday, the incoming anointed Prime Minister-to-be, Stuart Young, found himself in the neighboring constituency of Maruga Tableland. The only time they find themselves in Princestown and Maruga Tableland is election time. I want to tell them tonight, you could drink this, you could drink that. You could jump high, you could jump low. Maruga Tableland will return to the United National Congress under Kamla Prasad Bisesa. Tonight we have Bellman from Maruga Tableland, who is a staple in our party. Bellman will tell you, in the past 10 years, how many times the Prime Minister has been to Maruga Tableland. Just the other day, they went down to open the Grand Chemin fishing facility down there. They brought down the whole cabinet. You know, the other day, TV6 put up a clip. They say Princestown is the only constituency that have upstairs and downstairs road. Because one side of the road on the upstairs and the next side of the road on the downstairs. And the only time that road was fixed with some patching, some resurfacing, was when Rowley found himself down here for the local government election. But you see, election is coming up. And on the last pavement report, for once, CNC3 and The Guardian got it right, for once. They ran a story where I said that only 80% of Maruga Tableland receives a pipe-borne supply of water. So I know my facts, I know my research. I'm watching the news comes on. They're going and they're interviewing the people in Maruga Tableland, asking them whether or not what Padarath said was true. The people in Maruga Tableland said 80%. It's not 80%, it is worse. It is almost 90 to 95% of Maruga Tableland receives pipe-borne supply of water one time for the week. So yesterday when I saw Young coming to walk with the PNM candidate, I told Michelle Benjamin, I said when they come to walk, the people of Maruga Tableland must tell them they want pipe-borne water. They don't want hot water. They want pipe-borne water. That is the water they want. They don't want hot water. They want pipe-borne water. The basic things in this country, after 10 years of the People's National Movement, they cannot get it right. In 1960, then Prime Minister Eric Williams told the Trinidad and Tobago population, he said, water for all. I woke up to a headline this morning, front page of all the papers, manhole in water racket. They were saying that people were being extorted for water throughout the country. But I want to remind the minister, because he's bumping his gum all over the place talking about this water racket. You see, the water trucking matter, we must ask ourselves, how did we arrive at that situation? For 54 years, PNM has ruled this country, and they have not fixed the water problems. Look at their own constituencies, Laventille East, Laventille West, Porterspain North, Porterspain South, Diego Martin Northeast, Diego Martin West, Diego Martin Central. Those constituencies have voted nothing but PNM, but they have left them in squalor. They have left them without the basic commodities, but yet they will always go back and vote PNM. Today they're complaining about water trucking services. Those very constituencies do not have water for weeks and months. But brothers and sisters, the circumstances in Trinidad and Tobago where people have found themselves at the behest of people who are extorting money for exchange of water is because of the People's National Movement. The PNM created opportunities for those scams. The people are desperate for water. 54 years and we still have the same water problems. So who is to blame? The UNC is to blame. The UNC had 2 terms in 95 to 2000. We were then in 2010 to 2015. When we left office, Trinidad and Tobago had a 74% supply of water. When Anil Roberts and I, who sit on the Joint Select Committee, sitting on the Joint Select Committee for Land and Physical Infrastructure, when Anil and I peppered and we questioned WASA, we said, tell us. We don't want to hear it from our mouths. We want to hear it from WASA. They are spending billions of dollars to restructure WASA. They told us they were coming with a new water company, not yesterday, no. They told us that 10 years ago, that they will restructure WASA, that they will increase the capacity of WASA with desalination plants in Tobago, with desalination plants in Moruga Tableland. When you look at the budget documents, there are no allocations for water desalination plants in Moruga Tableland. And I am reminding Moruga Tableland again tonight, they will come with hamper, they will come with $300 in red jersey. They always say, fool me once, shame on me. They say, fool me twice, shame on you. Moruga Tableland, will it be shame on you again? Will you fall for the same tricks of the People's National Movement? You do not want hot water, you want water. You want water in your pipe. So when they come knocking at your door, begging for vote, having done nothing to increase the quality of life for you and your children, taking away laptops from the children in the schools, not building schools in your own communities, not creating a better social sector safety net. They have left you in the back of Trinidad where they believe that you deserve nothing, that they owe you nothing. But when election time comes around, the whole cabinet finds themselves in Moruga Tableland. Brothers and sisters, you know, you saw the other day that the Prime Minister decided to have a press conference. So first we saw that the PNM put out a press release saying that it will be held at Balize House. So I found it strange a few hours later. They said, no, we will not do it at Balize House, we'll do it at the Prime Minister's office. Tonight I want to recognize someone in the audience. Her name is Ms. Harry Lal. But for safety purposes, I will not ask her to stand. A very good constituent. She has been filing freedom of information, not only on behalf of the opposition, but as a good civic-minded citizen. She has been doing her due diligence to keep the government to account. So Ms. Harry Lal called me the other day. She said, MP has sent a few freedom of information requests at the office of the Prime Minister. I said, girl, what you ask them? She said, well, I want to know how much money there is paid TSCT from Balize House, PNM headquarters, when PNM have meeting and they broadcasting their meeting. PNM is paid for their meeting to TTT. I said, well, that's a good freedom of information to ask them. She said, I send that in. I said, well, else you ask them? She said, I want to know PTSC, when they're using PTSC bus to transport PNM supporters to meeting, PNM is pay for them bus? I said, well, Gil, that's a good question to ask them. You know, Ms. Harry Lal called me last week. She said, MP, I just got a call from the Prime Minister's office. I said, the Prime Minister's office? She said, yeah, they want to come home by me. I said, what they want to come home by you to do? She said, they want to have a little talk with me. I said, why am I filing this? Why I want this information? I told her, I said, tell them you have very good lawyers in the UNC. Roodal, Moonilal, Saddam Hussein, Hosein. You see, the PNM, you could run, but you cannot hide. So somebody whispered to them in Balize House, hey, well, they forget that Harry Lal woman from Princeton. She filed all them freedom of information. And if we have to have the press conference from Balize House, we go have to pay for it. But if we do it from the Prime Minister office, well, the state go pay for it. Brothers and sisters, your party is alive and well. We are doing our homework. We are holding this government to account, whether it is on the issue of water, whether it is on the issue of electricity. Tonight, I want to congratulate all of my colleagues for standing with me that today, the government cannot institute new water and electricity rates because of the tremendous pushback, the pushback that we have given against this government. I want to ask the government, because the government has been very silent on the issue of the water rates. For 1 year and 6 months, the recommendation to increase water rates has been at the cabinet level. But their general election handlers are telling them, wait, Dorothy, wait. Wait, Dorothy, wait. As Saddam tell you, the election could be tomorrow. It could be in April, it could be May, it could be in November. It's licks, it's more licks. Kamla Prasad Bisesa and the UNC up to this morning at 3 a.m. ensuring that we build a coalition of interest so that we are able to take the fight to the PNM. And you must band together. You must have the fire in your belly and the steel in your backbone. I encourage you to come out in your numbers on Saturday to join with MP Indara Singh. You heard earlier that MP Lee spoke about it. It will be the 3rd anniversary where we will mark such a significant and tragic and traumatic event in our nation's calendar. You need to come out. Now is the time. Mr. Pandey used to always say when they tell you protest and you look back, not one man jack behind you. Will you stand with us? Will you put fire in your belly? Will you put steel in your backbone? Now is the time, brothers and sisters. Tonight, I want to tell you, it has been 10 long years being your member of parliament. We have fought many battles, but because of your love and your support, I never gave up. I ask you to stand with us, stand with our political leader, stand with our great party, forward ever, backward never, fight, fight, and more fight. We will be victorious, but we will be victorious with your love, your support, and your hard work here in Bridgestown, in Mayaro, in Orupuch East, in Orupuch West, in Barataria San Juan. We must keep the fight. We must hold together. We are strong, united. When the UNC wins, everyone wins. When the UNC wins, everyone wins. When Daulat in San Fernando West wins, everyone wins. When Saddam and Barataria San Juan wins, everyone wins. When Devish and St. Joseph wins, everyone wins. Brothers and sisters, hold together. Stand strong here in Princestown and let us give them the fight of their life and return Kamla Prasad Bisesa, the best Prime Minister this country has ever seen. I thank you.
Yeah. Never let your problems get you down. Stay focused and hold your ground.
Now that was a presentation by our hosting MP Barry Padarath. Ladies and gentlemen, are we ready to hear the lion roar here tonight? Let me hear you all. Dr. Roodal Moonilal is a distinguished academic, researcher, and politician with a career spanning decades in political, services, and industrial relations. He holds a PhD in Development Studies from the Institute of Social Studies. The former Minister of Housing and Urban Development Dr. Roodal Moonilal also served as a leader of government business between 2010 and 2015 and played a key role in modernizing parliamentary procedures. He is a dedicated member of Parliament and the former chairman of Public Accounts Committee. He is currently our deputy political leader of the United National Congress under our distinct leadership of Colonel Pisad Bisessa, and his role in the party reinforces his unwavering dedication. Beyond politics, Dr. Roodal Moonilal is a respected lecturer, a published researcher, and a lawyer and advocates for the workers' rights across the Caribbean. Ladies and gentlemen, let us hear the lion roar, the MP for Oropouche East, Dr. Roodal Moonilal.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sister Alimah Ali. Let's give her a round of applause for a wonderful job this evening. We started off with Sister Ali and Gowrie. I ain't seen Gowrie. He's here. We thought you left for something. But we want to congratulate Gowrie and Alimah for a wonderful job this evening. Give them a round of applause. Brothers and sisters in St. Julian, at this charming school, the Presbyterian School, with great history, with great links to the United National Congress and indeed the United Labour Front. I want to acknowledge and salute the political leader of the United National Congress, Mrs. Kamla Prasad Bisessa and Dr. Gregory Bisessa, my parliamentary colleagues, many of whom are here. I would like to congratulate the speakers before me, the very dynamic, the dragon, a man who has shown to be one in possession of technical expertise, analysis, and policy in the area of energy, engineering, and development. Give a round of applause to Dr. David Lee. We had before a very dynamic attorney at law, someone who has been recognized as a leading debater in this parliament, who has emerged indeed as one of the fiery speakers and dynamic leaders in the parliament for our debating team. Give a round of applause to Mr. Saddam Hosein. And of course, the speaker before me, who really, when he leaves the platform, even I become a little intimidated to start. But I know that is not his objective. But even I come to the platform and I say, oh my God. So I called my executive member, Bush, earlier. When Barry opened fire like that, I said, bring some tea for me. I need a little pickup for that. So I want to congratulate our host for a wonderful job in short time in putting together this mammoth meeting in Princestown, the Honorable Barry Padarath. We are told that there are 300 persons outside this venue and much more inside. And we want to congratulate you for coming in this weather, in this horrible weather really, and standing up because I'm sure we don't have enough chairs and so on for you. So we want to thank you for coming out, for showing your support, for showing your love to this pavement report, an important institution in the United National Congress that has developed. It's called the Pavement Report. I think not to be outdone, the PNM also wanted to introduce a report, Khadija. Is it called the Anenu report, something like that? They couldn't say Avenue, they say Anenu. I think it's the Anenu report they want to introduce. So I think we need to watch them with that. Members of the local government fraternity, the mayor of Siparia, Mr. Dugnat Meru, the chairman of Sandy Grande, and his team, other members of local government, brothers and sisters all here, but also over 3,000 viewers, listeners on several social media platforms. We want to welcome you and thank you. And I'm sure that has grown. That information I got was an hour ago, so I'm sure that has grown by now.
Brothers and sisters, who would have thought? Imagine September 2015. Who would have thought 10 years later, Trinidad and Tobago don't have foreign exchange? The workers at Petrotrin are home without food, without income, without support for their children. Who would have thought 10 years from 2015 we would be importing fuel products from Jamaica? Huh? Who would have thought 10 years after this country will be washed in blood, where a 64-year-old mother was brutally murdered in a home invasion in a state of emergency? Who would have thought that? But who would have thought Stuart Young could have been Prime Minister of this country? This country is unrecognizable from the paradise that Kamla Prasad Bisesa left in 2015. The country is unrecognizable. Today, Barry mentioned the Princestown Fire Station, but the collapse of the fire service is spreading like wildfire. The collapse of the fire service is spreading like wildfire. All over Belmont, Alimah, Tanapuna, Penal, Princestown, and Mayaro. Eric Williams promised the people of Mayaro a fire station. I think he was with Tishera, Tishera or something, an old minister from the 60s. What do you name, Ramnayan, you gonna know that? No, because you are so young, you know. Isabel Tishera and Eric Williams were in South on a tour, and he promised the people of Mayaro a fire station in 1962, somewhere there. It took Kamla Prasad Bisesa in 2015 to open a fire station in Mayaro. But today, I want to tell you what has happened. The President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, and this is a matter really in the public domain, it's not a secret. She's a frequent visitor, Her Excellency, with the first man, that's what it's called. No, sorry. The first gentleman, that's the correct term? That's it, yeah. She's a why are you all laughing like that? She's a frequent visitor to Mayaro at a private house with the first gentleman. And they go often to Mayaro, and nothing is wrong with that. That's a beautiful place for recreating and so on. Nothing is wrong with that. So they visit Mayaro frequently and stay at a private home. But I understand just 2 weeks ago, Her Excellency was there, but they had no water. So Her Excellency called the Mayaro fire station, and she said, look, we have no water here. Or you could help out with a tank of water. The fire officer in Mayaro said, Excellency, we would love to help you, but we have no water. And more than that, we have no fire engine. That is Trinidad and Tobago. The poor lady had to go and get, I think, 2 pigtail buckets with water to bathe or something like that. For the lady and the first gentleman to bathe, they had to get 2 buckets of water. That is Trinidad and Tobago. Ordinary people have to buy water. She called the fire station, she said, we want water. They said, we would love to help you, but we don't have water. And even if we had the water, we don't have no fire the equipment to bring it. Trinidad and Tobago, this is where we are. Now, the more serious issue there is not the 2 pigtail bucket. The more serious issue is this. What happens if a house catch fire in Mayaro? There are children there trapped. There are women and children trapped, as happened elsewhere. Where the fire service coming from? Where the service coming from? It coming from Alimah. We thought it coming from Princestown. Barry said, no, they have rat. Can't come from there. So, brothers and sisters, something happened to a business in Mayaro. What is the state of affairs? They don't have a fire appliance. They don't have water. We left them with a brand new fire station. They could have just procured, man, you could have procured 12 fire appliances and so on with that, brothers and sisters. So that is the crisis we face, and I wanted to raise that with you in my introduction. And I wanted to take this opportunity, as I am on this matter of the fire business, to indicate that it is a disgrace that National Security Minister Fitzgerald Hines has failed to release the report of the committee that investigated the fire that caused the lives of Member of Parliament Minister Lisa Morris Julian and her 2 children. This is a manifest failure of this incompetent minister. And we support the Fire Service Association. They are correct, and we join them in calling for the report to be released and the minister to face questions in the parliament and in the public on this. The people of Trinidad and Tobago deserve the full truth of the circumstances surrounding the fire and the measures implemented to avert any such tragic occurrence again. Mr. Hines must indicate whether he has taken any steps to provide adequate resources, including appliances, to the fire service to ensure that fire officers can respond in an effective and timely manner. This minister stands guilty of concealing the harsh facts surrounding the death of former Minister Morris Julian and her family members, and he stands accused of denying essential resources to the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service. Brothers and sisters. Brothers and sisters, everything around them is collapsing. Everything. Barry told you, not Barry, I think Saddam told you earlier, this is one of the constituencies where you have 2-story road. I had 2-story house, it's 2-story road now. Now, if that wasn't a tragedy, that could have been a comedy. But it's tragic, brothers and sisters, and the PNM simply don't care. Stuart Young is the mini-me of Keith Rowley. Did you notice both of them attended the opening of the energy conference recently? Man, them dressed the same. A black suit with a red tie and a red shirt. They dressed the same too. Like in the same movie, what was that again between mini-me? Austin Powers movie. They not only talk the same, have the same ill intention, the same incompetence, they just look the same when they dress. That is a crisis in this tragedy that we are in now of a dictatorship where power is being transferred to a successor in waiting. That is from medieval time with kings and so on. They would say, well, I am now 92 years old and the 5-year-old son will be my successor. That happened in medieval times, brothers and sisters. That don't happen in modern democracy. In modern democracy, the people choose their successor in an electoral process. At the they are waiting. They want to open the central block in Port of Spain. They have built nothing in 10 years. They have no plan. They never had a plan. They never had a program. They started by saying they're building a cardboard factory. You remember that? Where the cardboard factory gone? Huh? The plywood factory? Well, the plywood factory come and gone, we don't know. They started with that nonsense. The boasting, they know how much hospital and thing we build. They're building the central block hospital. They're hurrying to open. You know what happened now? Our information is they hire somebody to do plumbing and so on. Now, plumbing in a hospital is a critically serious issue. That has to do with water. It has to do with sick people and water. What could be more, telling? Dr. Bodo, you agree? Now they are about to open. They discover that the plumbing system is faulty. They have to do over the plumbing now in the central block in Port of Spain, which they're boasting about. Rowley want to cut the ribbon outside and then tell everybody we can't tour today, run away. Because inside has nothing. That is the hoax that they want to perpetrate on us. Brothers and sisters, this is the only country that had a state of emergency to lock up the criminal and then lock up the commissioner of police. It's the only country. This has, as Chandra Sharma used to say, this has happened nowhere in the world. And we believe him. But brothers and sisters, it couldn't happen except in this dictatorship that we live in. This is a country where the Coast Guard tow in a boat, they tie a boat to their Coast Guard vessel, and they lost the boat. You all understand what has happened here? This speaks to the most incompetent and inefficient management of law enforcement and national security assets, possibly in the Commonwealth. How you could tie a boat to a Coast Guard vessel and lost the boat? Recently, did you see the headline in the newspaper recently? 25,000 rounds of ammunition. In a simple way, we could say bullet. Because, I mean, people might know what's round of ammunition in that sense and so on. Military grade, I'm reminded. Gone missing. Brothers and sisters, I want to tell you something. Before that story made the front page, I really heard of that a few days before. When the man tell me about that, somebody sent a message to me. I say, hey, don't set me up now. Don't set me up now. I'm not going on no platform and saying that. I told the guy who gave me the information, I said, don't set me up. In fact, I thought he was a PNM. And trying to set me up to go on a platform to talk rubbish and then discover that that is fake news and a hoax and so on. I couldn't believe it. There was something surreal about that. Lo and behold, we got in our reports, they published incidentally, I'll get it here momentarily, but they published from the Defense Force, brothers and sisters, they published a letter from the commanding officer of the regiment. And we have the letter. And in that letter, brothers and sisters, the commanding officer of the regiment is confirming that 25,000 rounds of ammunition, military grade, went missing at the Komoto barracks. The country sleep away when they hear that news. Nobody could believe it. And brothers and sisters, that is an amazing thing. How 25,000 rounds of ammunition could go missing? When did it go missing? How did it go missing? Why did it go missing? Where did it go missing? I have a song that does go like that. It have a particular song. But how this could happen? Under whose noses? A long nose? A short nose? Who presided over this? I mean, people can just go in a place and pick up that. And they have set up a committee. Again, they will kill the issue with a committee. What they are doing is trying to kill that issue with a committee. So you cannot talk. And that committee will take 100 years before they come back with a report. And when they come back with a report, they will say, well, that's secret. We can't tell you that. But we could take action. But it's secret. That is what Rowley is doing with that. I would never have believed that unless I read from the Defense Force that happened. And today we call again that this matter should be brought to the Joint Select Committee on National Security for a thorough investigation and examination as to what happened. So they're chasing down everybody with legal gun, and they forget 25,000 bullets gone missing. That in the hands of criminal elements is a disaster, brothers and sisters. I want to get a really important issue for me now, because a story broke the other day on the EMBDC, and I did the impossible. I remained silent. The media kept calling and asking me for comment and so on. And I did the impossible. I remained quiet. Lo and behold, Keith Rowley had a press conference. I told the man coming to tell me when he go in. And as Kamla say, just go. Man, just go. That go now, and that was the song? Bellman, go now. He came in this meeting, huffing and puffing the EMBDC and the corruption and the this and the that. That's what he came to do. The EMBDC is the poster for the PNM. They have no performance to show. What they going to show? The two-story road? Huh? What they going to show? The mosquito crack? They will show the iron wall by Claxton Bay? Huh? The Claxton break, the mosquito crack, the two-story road. What they will show? The plumbing at the hospital in Port of Spain? They have nothing to show. Absolutely. You know, it took an education expert in this country to tell me something again I find hard to believe, to be honest. Now, I don't follow every piece of news in the world. Huh? I am told by the education experts that in 10 years they have not built one school. In 10 years. Again, I told the person telling me that is a PNM, you know. I said, but you sure you're setting me up? In 10 years, they have not built one school. We built 105 years under Kamla Prasad Bisesa. They didn't build one, not one. So what they have to show? Nothing. So they come with this Mickey Mouse business with EMBDC and so on. But what Rowley don't want to tell you, and I think we have it on your screen for those viewing, was a front page of the Guardian newspaper that came out the week before Rowley spoke. And the front page of the Guardian newspaper with a screaming headline, corruption cases stalled despite $1 billion spent, investigations into EMBDC and live sport shelved due to TTPS delays. $1 billion gone to investigate little me, to investigate Anil Roberts. They spent $1 billion. Keith Rowley believes that this headline never existed. Fitzgerald Hines believed that the Guardian is a comic book. Stuart Young never see a Guardian in his life. They think that this didn't happen. So they come now and talking about EMBDC and the charges and the corruption. Tonight we ask them, where this $1 billion gone? Where? Who took $1 billion from the treasury for this nonsense and rubbish? Mrs. Prasad Bisesa has pronounced on this. And I'll repeat some of her comments she made on this matter. Who took the $1 billion? But I want to tell you that we are living in a dictatorship. Attorneys filing freedom of information requests and so on have received in this country some startling responses from this government. I make reference only to two matters. A matter involving attorney Asha Ramlal, dated 14 January 2025, and a matter involving Mr. Anthony Dobson, I believe a member of the OWTU, dated 6 February 2025, recent letters, in which the government, in responding for requests under the Freedom of Information Act, to give fees, legal fees, how much money is spent for lawyers and so on, the government says they spent hundreds of millions of dollars on legal fees. But hear what? We can't tell you who get it. Why you can't tell us who get it, please? They say, and I quote from a letter from the Office of the Permanent Secretary Attorney General. This is what a permanent secretary writer. And this is the original, what his name again? Limo. This is what the Limo fellow put. It's not the permanent secretary. This permanent secretary didn't write that. They may have signed it, but they didn't write it. This is Limo. He said, further, well, we're not giving you the information on the 300 million or how much legal fees. Given the prevailing crime situation in Trinidad and Tobago, where extortion has been increasing and lawyers have become more frequent targets for criminals, it is unreasonable to disclose in the public the fees earned by lawyers. No, but they could have said he's one of the richest men in the country, concerned with my secret and my security. You could say that, but you can't say, you understand what happened? They have admitted that the crime situation is so bad under their government that they can't tell you how much money lawyers get. But this is taxpayers' money. Anyone receiving taxpayers' money, the taxpayer must know. And they are saying that we cannot tell you this, to disclose this information has safety and security concerns. Imagine that. This is a dictatorship. And here the second reason. We cannot disclose this information and invoices and so on. It may expose the lawyers to defamatory and uninformed. And here it is. It might expose them to degrading statements, such as calling them eater food lawyers. So you can't tell us how much money they get, because we're going to know how much food they eat. That's what they're saying there. You know? We can't tell you how much millions this one get and million get, because then you're going to really know how much food they eat. That is what they put in a letter, official letter. Because people call them eater food lawyers. And having regard to the brief and so on, it will be alleged that they did this out of political favor. And they could have reputational damage to attorneys at law. But nobody does study my reputational damage. They don't study that. Nobody studies that. They don't study reputational damage when they attack members of the UNC and say who have linked to a gang, who have serious corruption before them, who before court and things. They don't study our reputational damage. They don't study reputational damage for the friend and the family. The eater food, what they call them? Eater food lawyers. So they have now institutionalized this term. The permanent secretary, eater food lawyers. And the one that and the next one which I'll come to now is this matter of the Pariah information and the Pariah Commission of Inquiry and the fees paid to lawyers. The lawyers representing the company Pariah have said that they can't give out the information neither because of people's legal fees and so on, because of personal safety. They spent $50 million, but they don't want to tell you who got it because of the personal safety. What the personal safety of the 4 divers in the pipeline? Anybody care about that? Any of them that care about the personal safety of the divers? They care about the personal safety of the lawyers who got $50 million. The divers' family haven't gotten 50 cents to this day. Lawyers and others gone with $50 million, but we don't know who it is. But I want to tell you something. Jump high, jump low, we will find out. And when we find out, you will find out. So we will discover that in due course, and we will come to the population and let you know that, brothers and sisters. Brothers and sisters, on the EMBDC matter, I wanted to tell you because I had to say something about it now. This matter of the EMBDC, this is the biggest political witch hunt and the most expensive political witch hunt that involved the massive abuse of law enforcement to target political opponents, spending hundreds of millions of dollars, weaponizing the office of the Attorney General and a state enterprise to go after political opponents. This is what they have done. This saga is worthy of a Netflix season. You all watching Netflix these days? This is Netflix and it has 3 seasons. All the seasons are released around election time. So the first season with about 7 episodes came after the 2015 election. That season, we call it season 1, is when they went to court and filed something unknown in this jurisdiction about cartel behavior, illegality, conspiracy, and all type of things in a civil law case. Civil law. That was season 1. And remind yourself, do you know what started that? Contractors sued the EMBDC for their money. The EMBDC didn't want to pay, so they counter sue. And say, okay, everything all you do was illegal. Brothers and sisters, at the end of season 1, to a crescendo, they hire a foreign group, a foreign mercenary legal team with a British star girl by the name of SRP Kate McMahon. She picked in the papers to a star girl from Britain, came down as a legal mercenary for private prosecution. What they did is they realized that they couldn't go to the DPP with rubbish. The DPP will not stand for it. They didn't have any confidence in the TTPS. So they hire a group from England for what is called private prosecution of political opponents. They paid them $45 million. Today, 50 million. 5 million British pounds foreign exchange. Gone. They pay them, and these people come down and they say, look here, we will do the work, we will do the work, we will get, and they refer to us as political targets. We have read the correspondence, we have it. We are referred to as political targets. So SRP Kate goes with $50 million, she gone. But she want more money. Season 2 start in 2020, another 7 episodes. Election come, man. 72 hours before the election in 2020, a High Court judge who couldn't give a ruling on that matter for a year and a half, ruled that there are serious questions to answer on a preliminary issue, Ruled that. Okay, SRP continued the investigation and continue asking for money. Every time they ask for money, Keith Rowley himself will approve it and then cabinet ratify it. But that money was not to fight crime, to fight gangs, to fight, to equip the police, It was to go after political targets. Former cabinet members, they had big front page headline, charges coming, charges coming. You all remember that? 2020 election. Charge come, charge gone. And I tell people, you see me? I have been blessed in life, Anytime the police come by me, it's because they're asking me for a donation. When police reach me, they want to know if I could help. I have letters home. I don't work with that thing. I have letters home from the police. We want to thank you for the printer. We want to thank you for the water. We want to thank you for the little donation. That's what police contact me for. When I contact, what does contact them for? I don't know. I don't contact them really. So I want to tell Rowley, today you have police car in front of you. Tomorrow you could have police car behind you. So brothers and sisters, $50 million gone to the commando team. Now they come back, EMBDC again, they come, rah. You know what happened here? Rowley gone on a platform in City Hall, San Fernando and elsewhere. And every time they talk, man, Moonilal have questions to answer. Moonilal have questions to answer. He must file his defense. Now, no court never ruled me in contempt for not filing a defense. But Moonilal have questions to answer. Well, Moonilal answer the question. They change the question. You could believe that. I filed a defense in December 2024. And I'm proud to say I have a very brilliant King's Counsel as well, a star boy. So the King's Counsel filed a defense. When we put in our defense, which is my defense, they say, hold up, we want to change the claim. We want to change the question. But how you could do that? How you could do that? You move the goalpost in the middle of the match. You move the goalpost. So when they realize now their case collapsed, they realize their case collapsed, they say, okay, we come in with new allegations. So when they came with the new allegations, I asked them, I said, but what happened to the old allegations? If you come with new allegations, what happened to the old ones? They said, forget them old allegations, man. We have new things with you. So brothers and sisters, their case was blown wide open by our lawyers. It was blown wide open. And today, they come with a next cock and bull story to say, well, when I was minister, I was a shadow director. So I tell them, why you didn't take a shadow court action? And if I was a director, I want my fees now. I am entitled to fees from the board if I was a shadow director. They come with this cock and bull story about shadow director, where that is unknown to our law. That is unknown. We don't know anything about that. But what happened when they read our defense, they realized they had no case. So now we have to answer that. And I bet you when we answer that, they will come with the next allegation. Because they are not concerned with that case, they're concerned with election. They want to use that as a campaign weapon. But you must not allow them. And the truth is, unless I talk to you about this, really nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about this, and as Kamala says, nobody cares about the fella from Kulmutu neither. Really, nobody cares. I walk through the mall in this country 3 times a week. I actually go to the gym. You mightn't believe that, but yeah. I walk through the mall, I walk on the street, I walk around all over. Nobody never come up to me, what is about this EMBD thing? What is that? What is that about? You know, come to ask me, boss, we have to get them out. We have to get them out. We have to win. So brothers and sisters, let not your heart be troubled. Very soon, in a few weeks, we will have to deal with Ronnie Mohammed, the chairman of the EMBDC, who presides over this debacle. The EMBDC cannot provide land for the former Caroni workers. They shut down all the sites. They cannot develop. All the sites overrun with bush and bamboo and all type of thing. You cannot give the people land. Caroni workers are dying and not getting their land. But Ronnie Mohammed spending millions of dollars to go after former government officials. And I have a classic for you. I will show you this one. I think Kevin has this as well. Huh? Kevin has this as well. Now, I always say that these people are crazy people. It was only announced 2 days ago, I think, 2 days ago, that we're having this meeting tonight. This was not a meeting planned weeks and weeks before. And it was announced yesterday, or today, maybe, that I am speaking here. I don't think anybody knew that before yesterday, maybe. Yesterday, Pavement report, by this morning, Roodal Moonilal is speaking. You know what happened today? The 25th of February, the 20th of February, 2020, 20th today. At 12:09 p.m., a big-time email went out. Kevin has it. From Vandana Kisoon to Savitri Sukraj Bihari, copied other people and so on in a law firm called Pollinaire de Labassid and Jasselon. That's a law firm that is working for the EMBDC. And the subject is witness statement. You know what happened here? I'll tell all you. They're now asking officials from the EMBDC today, hello, you could help us? We're building a case against Moonilal. You could help we? Look it in my hand. Hear what they say? I'm reading it, you know. There's an email, you know, of today, 7 hours ago or so. Further to Mrs. Sukraj Bihari's email, we kindly inquire whether you would be amenable to providing written responses to our questions. In particular, we require clarification on the following issues. We note that you were listed as an attendee of board meetings dated 14 April 2015, dated 7 July 2015. Please confirm your attendance at these meetings, and if so, describe your role during these meetings. All you know what was all your role yesterday? They asked people, describe your role 10 years ago on those 2 specific dates. Additionally, please provide any recollection you may have regarding events and discussions that took place during these meetings. Please provide any information you may have regarding the circumstances surrounding information of award of contracts. Did you hear this one? There's a real email that went out today, you know. You only hearing this? Am I talking too fast? All right. Did you ever receive any instructions from Line Minister Dr. Roodal Moonilal regarding any of the EMBDC contractors? Additionally, were you aware of any other members receiving board instructions or directions? We would like to find out more about the process for issuing checks to contractors. Describe the process in detail, including your role and responsibility. We would like to find out about the PricewaterhouseCoopers forensic investigation into roads. Please confirm whether you were involved in that. Describe your level of involvement and responsibility. I want to tell you something. If I ask anyone of all you, what you eat for breakfast yesterday morning, you can't remember. You asking people today what happened in July and April in 2015. These people have no case against me. They file a case and don't have witness statement. They don't have evidence. They have nothing. So what they do now is they go down on Independence Square or High Street by the junction and they lasso anybody they could find. They say, come. Tell we what happened. Tell we what go on. We want to know. We have a case against Moonilal. They file case against me, you know, and asking people for evidence in 10 years later. This is the madness that is, David Rudder, this is not a fete here, this is madness. This is madness. The lawyers representing former members of that board and other officials, lawyers representing them have told me today, in light of this, they are looking at taking action against the EMBDC on the grounds of harassment and witness tampering. Ronnie Mohammed, you must get a good courthouse suit. He will be running Mohammed when we're done with him. The members of that board and their senior managers must get their courthouse closed. This is harassment. This is witness tampering. They are trying to solicit and force people. I am told that letter today is not the first time. 2 or 3 times they have been doing that. People are not given voluntary statement. In the criminal case, in the criminal matters that have been investigated, I just want to make one reference to something. Do you know the lady from England quarreling that the TTPS not doing enough, they're not helping? The TTPS say, oh, we're trying we best, man. They take, in 1 week, they issue 30 search warrant. They go and buy old people with heart problem. They go and buy business places and things. You know the police got embarrassed by that? Even the police realized it's a political witch hunt. I have in my hand a document purportedly from the police giving a report. Imagine this day, 2021, August 2021. A report from senior police officers, and the part I only want to tell you about really. You know what they say? In a nutshell, this report, they say we have received help from the English EMM. That's the name, fancy name for the company, you know. Kate. SRP Kate is EMM UK. And they have said that notwithstanding all the good work of Sister Kate, the larger investigation has been abandoned. They abandoned what they call the larger investigation. They have now said everything that remains is within the TTPS capacity, and we do not require further engagement with EMM UK. The police say we don't want them. The English people tell the government, they say, pay we more. We go get Moonilal, we go get Roberts, we go get them. Pay we more. The stupid Rowley gone and pay them more. $1 billion later, they have nothing. And today I want to tell the police officers, we know their names. Legal advice tell me it's too early, don't call their name yet. We know their names. They are persons in the police service. We know them with contacts to Fitzgerald Hine, a woman police officer in particular. And they have instructions from Hines to reopen the investigation after $1 billion. And I want to tell the police officers, be very careful. Gopal Lock is not Sipol Lock. We will be calling for the TTPS to account for the money and the time and the resources and whether they took instructions from Fitzgerald Hines to go on a political witch hunt. And we know the identity of the police officers. And if you do the dirty work for the PNM, you will end up like Erla Christopher. You will end up like that Jacob fella from somewhere around here. You will end up like Suzette Martin as well. If you do the dirty work. They use Erla Christopher, and then they buy a bus and they throw she under the bus. Because even the bus break down. That is what they do. So brothers and sisters and police officers, I tell you, do not do the dirty work of the PNM. I wanted to also speak very briefly on one other little matter, and that matter has to do with a headline in the papers. You notice, brothers and sisters, notwithstanding their obscene obsession with EMBDC and so on, have you noticed they come with a next hoax? 500 houses for squatters. 500 houses for squatters. Do you know that the government LSA themselves have said that there are 60,000 squatters in Trinidad? 500 into 60,000 is less than 1% of squatters. They come with this big headline, 500 squatters. That is a political hoax. They are doing that because they want to tell the people vote for PNM, but they will not. They will build nothing between now and the election. If they couldn't do it in 10 years, could they do it in 10 weeks? No. So brothers and sisters, don't get chained up with Camille SRP. What is called she again? WPC Camille. Yeah, in 10 years she reading warrant and she ain't get no promotion. She's still a constable. I tell she should talk to Anand Ram Logan. He does handle that. So brothers and sisters, 10 years they couldn't help squatters. They will help them in 10 weeks. They went and break down the squatter's house in Ramjatan Trace, Tampuna Road, Arima, somewhere there. Break down that in the most vile, brutal, horrific manner. Put the women and children on the road. When they got the backlash on that, they said, okay, we go help now to bill for 500. That is gimmickry of the highest order. It is shameless and obscene. They will build nothing, brothers and sisters. When they build the 1 or 2 starter house, they call it, they will want to put it in marginal seats to see if they could get 1 or 2 more votes in marginal seats. That is their operation. We know that. And don't fall for that. Don't fall for that. I tell you, don't fall for that type of gimmickry. So brothers and sisters, I know it's getting late, and we normally would want to finish by 9 o'clock, I think. So I would wind up now to tell you that the United National Congress is on the road to victory. When the UNC wins, everybody wins. Brothers and sisters, when Kamla wins, everybody wins. When the UNC wins, we create jobs. When the UNC wins, we create prosperity. When the UNC wins, we get investment. When the UNC wins, we get quality education. When the UNC wins, we get healthcare service. When the UNC wins, we get social development. When the UNC wins, Trinidad and Tobago wins. And we have reached this great moment in our history where we are on the verge of returning to power. We are on the verge of taking back this country. We are on the verge of rescuing TNT. You saw yesterday, the labor movement has united with Kamla Prasad Bisesa and the United National Congress. We have been talking to our partners. We have been talking to some of the folks in other parties who have been tested in political struggle. Don't get chained up by some of these pop-up, what they call them, these pop-up party people and so on. They have no screening. We don't know if they are screaming, but they have no screening. They have no meeting. They have nothing, and they want to announce candidate. I mean, I don't want to repeat Anel Robertson because they don't sue Anel, they sue me. So I don't want to repeat Anel Roberts. He described it this morning. I would tell you, go to his post this morning. I say no more. He was talking about personal attire and so on. So, you know me, I can't go beyond that. So, brothers and sisters, don't take chain up by them. Some have no party. Some have leader. The political leader, they never make a name. They're using a name. They never make their own name, you know. They're using a name. Don't take chain up by them. They have no candidate. They have nothing. They're sneakily hoping that the UNC could pull them out. And then quicksand, some in political quicksand. But I will advise the political leader, for those in political quicksand, Madam Political Leader, throw a rope for them and let go the next end. So we are on the verge. We are on the verge of something big. We are on the verge of rescuing Trinidad and Tobago, and this is our moment. This is a moment for Kamla Prasad Bisesa. This is a moment for salvation. And I leave you with William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare told us that there's a tide in the affairs of men which, taken at the flood, leads on to victory, leads on to fortune. Omitted all the voyage of their life is bound in shallows and misery. Upon a full sea are we now afloat, and we must take the current well when it serves. Tonight I tell you, we are afloat. The current is here, and this is our time. Thank you. God bless our great party, the United National Congress. God bless our great leader. God bless the people of Princetown, and victory will be ours. Thank you. God bless you all.
The UNC will deliver 50,000 new jobs when we form the government. The UNC will stop the P&M property tax. The UNC will deliver laptops and tablets to our children in school. We tell them The UNC will reduce food prices. Tell them that the UNC will deliver on reducing murders and solving crime. You will have a safer society. We will not support a cashless society, but you will have more cash in your pocket. Vote for a leader who loves you and your children. Vote UNC.
Do you know that in 2016, 66 liters of diesel cost $100? Today, under the PNM, you get 20 liters of diesel for $100. The diesel you paid $100 for under the UNC now costs $327 under the PNM, which directly affects the cost of food, transport, and services. Guess who I'm voting for next time?